We're going to keep it strictly legal. We're going to go and see if we can obviously go into the school and talk more about each building, where I stayed, what I went through, and everything that happened. So, yo, let's get it. Yo, so obviously in Cheltenham, this was the survival, obviously after surviving all from being young and surviving all obviously the abuse and all the fucking mental abuse and shit that we went through 6 years. I mean, it was like 6 years of it, back and two from London, Brixton, Croydon, Peckham, and there. I finally seen my escape. So I finally got there and I started seeing that escape from the school, escape maybe a little bit back to normality. So I was done. I've done my period at the hellhole, as they call it, which is mad. Makes me a little bit emotional talking about it now, you know, like surviving that shit. Like, definitely someone was watching over me while I fucking, while I went through that shit, you know, because life can get difficult, you know, and I've always had that attitude that there's someone always fucking worse off, you know. So when you're looking down at the floor and you know you're struggling and life gets difficult, always remember there is someone worse off and they need you. They're looking to you, man. They're looking to you. They're looking to you to be that scapegoat as well. So I'm escaping the school now and I'm going to another school. So I weren't escaping this school to come to a normal life. So it wasn't old, you know, the journey wasn't over. The pain, the suffering, it wasn't over yet. I still have many hurdles and stuff I had to go through. So I'm saying my goodbyes to this school now. I'm saying goodbye to some of my best friends. Jordan Levine, if you're out there, hit me up, man, because he was one of my best friends in that school and we suffered together. So it'd be good to catch up with him again. But I've escaped this school. My mum's there, you know, my sisters are there. And obviously I still love I know everything that everyone's gonna think, why'd you love your mum, man? She's done you dirty, but you don't understand, man. It's like a dog loving its owner, man. You forgive them over and over again. Like, I have a forgiveful heart. And no matter how much my mum put me through the trauma, no matter how much she beat me, no matter how much she didn't feed me, no matter how much she did all these things, I still loved her, man. I still loved her. And it was true, you know, it was true. She could break my heart, but I'd still love her. So, yeah, so we're escaping now. I've heard my my people, my sisters and everything like that, they've all come now. So they've all come to they've all moved out of London. All the madness happened with all the kidnapping, all the abuse. I mean, all of our flat apparently was getting splayed out, black N words, black B words, get out, you don't deserve to be here, you're black, you know, all that sort of stuff. I heard my sisters and that were all going on like Jeremy Kyle shows and all little mad things, and it was my mum that was actually fabricating it. So just a little story in between that, like, my sisters were suffering from bare racist abuse. I was obviously suffering from it where I was as well. But it was my mum and her boyfriend. They were spray painting their own flat, saying blacks out, and they were, you know, my mum's white and this geezer she was with, and like they're spraying all this black lives out, black. She's got black kids, man. Like, she's supposed to be helping, supporting us through this, but she's making all my sisters and that feel like scared, nervous, fucking anxious, putting that into young kids' brains. putting my sister, my middle sister, into foster care, just so she could fabricate the story even better, you know, so she could get out of London. Which I guess she was trying to find ways, but her selfish ways were for herself. Seeking all the benefits and the money and spending it on drugs, and herself, and leaving her kids out, you know. So, yeah, I came up north. This is how I come up north. My mum had been online dating again, so she's dropped this next fella, and she's been on online dating again. And she's met this next fella up in Cheshire, in Crewe. And she's moved and packed up with all my family and gone. She's gone up Crewe now, so you know, they're all up there. So I actually tracked down my dad and tried living with him for a little bit, but my mum was sending me threatening messages saying, like, you know, if you stay with your dad, or if you stay there with, you know, him, that I'll never see my sisters again. And I'll never be able to be in that family ever again. And I'm dead to them and stuff like that. So I ended up leaving there and going into another foster care in Winsford. There's a place up north called Winsford. I went into a foster care in Winsford. And I'm getting a little older now. So things are getting more apparent to me. I'm in the wrong crowds. I'm starting to get into the crowds with drugs and different bits and pieces, fighting. I'm getting into a young kid now. So I'm going to this school called Chagley School. You can Google it again, there's Chagley School. It's in Warrington. It's another lock-up school / boarding school. So I've come out of my boarding school and now with pure child abuse, going to another boarding school where it's a bit tougher because these are teenagers now, you know, these are where knives are apparent, you know, and shit like, you know, this is where, you know, young minds start getting ahead of themselves and they start doing mad stuff and they're all involved in, you know, drugs and different things, and I was involved in that as well. So I was a confused boy. I wasn't proud of who I was. But I was always blaming the world, you know, I was always blaming why me, why did I have to go through this trauma, why did I have to go through this shit, you know? And I was always like, thinking there's never a way out for me. I'm always going to be in these schools. I'm always going to be looked down upon. I'm never wanted. No one's ever going to want me. Yo, if your own mum and dad don't love you, don't want you, can abuse you, who the fuck's going to love you, man? That's the way I seen it. If your own flesh and blood can't love you, no one can love you. But I was wrong. I was really wrong, you know? In times like that, becomes really difficult inside of you, and like I was spending time at this school, Chagley School, and again it was little rooms now, innit? You can be locked in, you can lock yourself in little rooms. And again, innit, I wasn't allowed home, so I'd stay like a half-term thing at this school. And that's basically what it was. This school was a little bit easier though, you know, it was easier but harder, you know, because you had elders, you know, you were getting into fights. I met a couple of brothers up there, like, doing free running, like backflipping off buildings and doing all the madness like that sort of stuff.
Go.
But I could never settle, man, because I wasn't clever, I wasn't bright. I couldn't really read well, couldn't really write well. Wasn't really great at maths. I wasn't really great at everything, man. I was a problem kid, you know. There's that problem kid. But to some geezers in there, man, there was Ant. My nickname used to be Risky. And there's Risky, there's Ant. You know, there's that brother. You know, he might be dumb, he might not be clever, but he's loyal, man. He's got a good attitude. He's got a good vibe. Even though, you know, deep inside it was dark, man. It was dark thoughts, dark shit. You know, and it was difficult. But I started to see different ways of life, you know. I started going back to my this foster care for a little bit, but I ran away. I decided to pack my shit up, run away. And I decided to go back to my mum to give her one last chance, you know, to see if my mum really loved me or not, you know. So I was obviously with my mum, she lived in a place, and then we moved over to like some farmland place called Warmingham. Yo, so after all of this, everything in Devon, everything like that, we're up to Warmingham. I mean, where the hell is Warmingham? That's what I'm thinking. But this is where really we come together as a family again. We try and like find our way back to try and start our lives again, which has been difficult. So I'm pretty excited, and life seems to be going up from here. We still do have our hiccups along the way, but life's starting to look up now, and things are starting to look good. So this is kind of like a new start with all these scars and war wounds in my mind, in my body. This is where I can start really trying to find me and start believing in me. And this is where it all started. We're a bit older now, innit? So this next man can't really hit us or do anything because you're hit back. But our mum still used to clout us. But that was more like, you know, more of a different kind of clout. You know, you're not young no more, you're a bit older, you can take the beats, you get me? So that's a bit different. But my mum still, I don't know, man, she just didn't really want me. You know, she didn't really want me. I was always a problem child. I was always an issue in her life. But as long as she was getting the benefits from me, she would make a little bit of time here and there for me. But my mum's now moved from next guy to another guy, you get me? So like, my head's fucked anyway. People, you just deep that, man. You've seen all these different guys going through your mum and doing different bits, and that's your mum, G. And it's hard, isn't it? Because there's people in here now at home, probably sat home and the mum's downstairs. Or if your mum loves you, G, like loves you and takes care of you, I think like you need to fucking hold on to that, man, because not many of us experience that shit in life, you know? So it was difficult. But yeah, so we've moved now over to a place in the West End, as they call it, a little Barnabas Avenue in a little corner house. I've met a couple of brothers, you know, a couple of the hard kids, as they call it. So I'm out fighting, I'm out smoking weed, I'm out doing this, doing that with different people. I'm out partying, I'm exploring. I'm young now, innit? I'm in my teens now. I'm trying to explore, like, do all these different mad things. And I'm living with my mum, innit, and like fucking, this guy, like my mum obviously tried putting her hands on me again, and I was just like, yo, this needs to stop. You can't keep beating me, like, it needs to stop. You've been beating me for 14 years of my life, like it's gotta stop. And then she told me get out and stuff like that. And like, I can't live with her and all that stuff. But we managed to work it out a little bit, even though like, she would still like be that person. And then one day, my brother, like, this guy she's with, fucking tries attacking her, obviously. So me being a boy, like, you many sons out there, anyone try and attack your family, man, you're jumping in, innit? No, say no more, you're in. So I'm just in there like, what the fuck? I'm throwing his brother out the way, like, what the fuck are you doing? Get your hands off me, don't push my mum. I'll beat you. So obviously my mum, yeah, has turned around and got mad at me. Get out, you're ruining everything. Get out of my house, kicking me out. Like, get out, do this, do this. So I'm gone, I'm back to the streets. And I'm a bit older now, innit? So I've turned to my sister, and my sister's took me in. And obviously she's in a mad state in her life as well, because her mum's kicked her out since she was pregnant and had a child and stuff. And it's been a bit crazy, so I'm lost for direction now. So I'm out fighting every day. I'm out fighting, you know, around the blocks and doing different bits. And I'm just being naughty, I'm getting arrested. I'm out, like, I've lost all direction. I've lost all direction. So I'm just this fucking kid with no direction, no money, nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm out here earning on the streets, and you boys know what I mean on the streets. I'm earning on the streets, man. I'm just going out here doing my thing. It's not a good thing to do, but you gotta survive out here. Like, whatever it is you do to survive, you gotta survive. So I'm out here just surviving, doing my thing, and I'm starting to see direction now. I'm starting to think, you know, I'm looking at myself in the mirror every day, and I'm like, yo, I can't live this life. I can't do this. So I apply for the army. I think I need to get out of here, man, because if I don't get out of here, something's bad is gonna happen. I'm gonna get in jail or dead or something. I gotta do it. So I apply for the army, and I get in. I go training camp with my brother, one of my boys, and we go through the training shit. We get into the army. We start doing all that sort of stuff in the army and that. But I rate the army, and I rate everything that they do, but like, it just wasn't for me, you know. Like, it's a realism of life. Like, you get people, like, I rate them, 100% rate these soldiers going over there fighting for their country and that, because for me, bro, as a troubled kid, it just wasn't the way out for me. Like, I felt like going in the army, going over there and just fighting to the death, you know, because that's where I felt my way was going. That's why I felt like my life needed to go. I just didn't think like I was wanted on this planet. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, you get low, like, you get really low, and you get really put down like, seriously put down. But I came out of the army and I was like, yo, I need to do something with my life. I need to really, really focus on my life. So I thought the only way I'm gonna change my life is it starts with me. Me, like, anyone watching this right now, like, you've got to figure out what's good for you, what are you good at. Even if everyone says you're good at nothing, trust me, there's value. You're on this earth for a reason. There's value. So I started working in warehouses, Bowies, as many people know up here. I used to handball out the back of 40-foot trailers, tuna tins, putting them on, boom, 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 wrapping them around. I was on like £4.90 an hour. £4, just deep that for a second. £4.90, it's not even a meal. It's like a meal deal, an hour. You get a meal deal at Tesco for an hour or something. And that was an hour of hard labor. Might as well call it slavery. My shifts were like 6'2", 210. And I was grafting now, and, you know, I lose that job. I was going through agencies. I get a job at Prime Break, I get a job at Gist, I get a job at the cheese factory, and I was like putting wax on cheeses. I even worked as a cleaner at Bentley. I was a cleaner, man. I used to go around mopping the floors and, you know, doing all that. I used to be, you know, picking, changing bins, and there's don't have no shame in any of these jobs. If you're working these jobs, you're doing your thing, and don't have no shame. I had no shame working these jobs because I was making money, and that was the vision, you know, to make money and to start doing what you needed to do. So I started figuring out what I was good at. I started figuring out I was good. I was loyal. I'm a loyal person. So I thought, you know, I'm good with people. I'm good with talking to people, you know, when they say the gift of the gab and all that. I was good at that. I was a salesman. Like, I was good at chatting, like, joker. I'm the joker, Ant's the joker. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that was the good part. And then I just started focusing as I worked for this company at Ultimate UK. Yeah, so I was door-to-door knocking. Fucking, yo, you want to buy some facial boards, double glazing windows, all this sort of stuff. Running around in some like 2000 plate Renault Megane or whatever it was. Bro, it was brook up. It was like juggering along, like it was mad. And I turned up on a stay in a suit, it's like a tie, shirt. It was crazy, really. And I used to go around doing that every day in all different places. And then my journey sort of to where I am today, I started working for another company in customer service. And in this is what I'm saying, the people, this is me trying to explain to you now, like we've left that. We've left the whole DEVON We've escaped Devon. I've told you about Warrington and being back at home and all the different bits and pieces back at Chigley. Now moving on to now how you guys can see out of the darkness and start seeing the light. So this is what I'm thinking now, is that I started a job down at fucking, where was I? Expert Logistics. It's a job in Manchester. I used to go with one of my mates in a car, travelled there, and I just blagged the job really. I didn't really know what I was doing. It was like a customer service job. I was still figuring out what I was good at. And I was working there, and I was figuring out the systems and all bits and pieces like that. And then they changed over. Expert Logistics is now actually probably like AO, what you guys would probably know it as now. But I used to work in a call center, yeah, and obviously I had a manager. Hopefully he sees this now. But I had a manager there that, yeah, he didn't really like me, if I'm honest. And I had another manager as well that was probably a bit skeptical, because I was like young, I'm black, I'm a jokey, I'm sarcastic, I'm like, but when you're in these corporate companies, you know, you can't be like that. Like they're saying you can't. I mean, this day and age it is changing slightly, which is good, but back then, you can't be like that. So I was joking that people didn't really like my attitude and the way we were rolling with things. And I was on like a probational period, as they give you like, this is a trial. If you're good at the job, you cut to stay. If not, they sack you off. So like one day I'm working there and I'm nearly at the end of my probation. And my manager says to me, hey, you've passed your probation and don't worry. And then I was like, yeah, cool, calm. And then I send an email off like someone else's computer to someone saying like, oh, do you want to go out on a date? Just a little joke. And then they dragged me into a room over it. And they're like, oh, this don't fit our criteria, this don't fit our cares, our values. Just a joke. It was just a little joke, yeah? And some people would be like, yeah, but that isn't funny. And you know, some people might take that, But it was light, nothing personal. It was just lighthearted. And I should have got a warning, like, oh, this is a warning, don't do it again. But instead, they backtracked and they were like, oh, nah, you've not passed your probation, get out. So they just fired me on the spot, like, boom, done. I'm on the spot, I'm gone. So like, I'm kind of grateful for that, because I probably wouldn't be where I am today without having these knockdowns and these failures. And then I moved on to other places. I moved on to another place actually, which was called EMAC. It was like service plans for cars, and I was like the top seller. I was like the boy there, you know what I mean? When I rolled in there, I found my attitude, I found my swag, and I found all these bits and pieces that I was good at. So I knew I was good at sales, which was lit. So I was like the top sales guy there, sold like the most plans, and one day I started like seeing the vision, like, lo, I believe in myself, I believe and trust, I was being paid like 15 bags a year. So whatever that was, whether that was minimum wage there, with like commissions quarterly. And like, I knew my value was more, but I thanked them for learning me that. Do you know what I'm saying? So like, where people are like, I can't believe that, like, you should have asked for a pay rise. Nah. I thank them for keeping me where I was, because they realize my value sometimes is bigger than where you are. And eventually, you know, I ended up moving on to another company where I did sales, account manager sales, and I had the difficult times there. You know, where you get into that corporate industry where I feel like people might agree to disagree, but they were like, you had like racist boss really that didn't really like your flavor, didn't really like your flow. And I went into this company with some good bosses, but then they left. And then some other bosses come in. They didn't really catch my vibe, my attitude, the way I like things. And we were falling out here and there, but I was bullied inside these places. These people were trying to bully me, like corporate bullying. I think that should be a thing as well, corporate bullying, because there is companies out here where they use their status to bully good, honest, hard-working people. And I feel like that was, you know, a little bit of a kick in the teeth as well. But I was in and out of HRs, and they were, you know, basically corporate bullying me to do all these things, saying that I'm wrong for this, wrong for that. But all of these were lessons along the way, massive lessons along the way. And this is really a short clip about the little clips about my life, but I want you guys to understand where I came from and where I am today. So I ended up leaving and making my own company and my own businesses and building my own network and doing my own things, and the vision, and really seeing that staying positive, staying true to yourself and good vibes, good energy, and you can just fly. You can fly, honestly, you can spread your wings and fly. So whoever's watching this right now, at home, on your sofa, kitchen, on your dropped out 6S or on your Brookout Samsung or Android, yo, I believe in you. No matter what, do not let anyone tell you that you haven't got value. Don't let anyone shoot you down saying you're not good enough to do that or you can't do that because of this and that. Don't worry about them excuses, because you can do whatever you want to do. So yeah, so here we are. This is Barnabas Avenue. School's done, school's over. All the demons, all the bad memories, all the scars, all the pain, all the emotions that you guys have seen that we've been through, it's over. It's over. We're starting to leave school now, and I'm trying to find my feet. This is the time where you need to believe in yourself the most, because not everyone else believes in you when they're in and around you. So you've got to believe in you and show people that you glow, you shine, and then they want that. They will buy into that. So however you want to make yourself glow or shine, we're gonna help. But this was my street. This was my final sort of saying goodbye to, you know, never really having mum, dad, I was over, I was done with all that. And it was all just me and my sisters now from now on. And this is what we are. We're still together today. And you've seen it all. So I hope I've inspired many to this nice Barnabas Avenue. But guys, this is the beginning. So welcome to the good life. And this is what I'm trying to show every one of you, that you can all be in this life. Don't matter what walks of lifestyle any of you have come from. Remember that I believe in you. Quarter mile lifestyle. Peace and love, baby.